everybody. I am delighted to have with me today Simon Skinner, Ops Manager of LetHQ. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, I'm not too bad today, thank you. Yourself?
Good. That's not strictly true, is it? Come on, Simon. You can be honest with me. You are
Yeah,
recovering from a bit of early summer flu, aren't you? So you
I am struggling a little bit
already
at the
in that
moment,
place.
but
But you can make it through here. We've got a lot to talk about.
yeah,
We're pleased to have you on the platform. We're going to go through and talk about all the different services that Let HQ kind of covers off. And to make sure that everyone sticks with it right through to the end, you've got a fabulous deal for the Kerfuffle members as well, which is saving 30% discount. So that's a whopping discount. So thank you for that. For now, we're going to be talking about the referencing side of things, AML checks, and everything else. Simon, do you want to just give us a bit of a really quick elevator pitch, though, for what services Let HQ do for agents in the industry?
yeah, sure. So LetHQ is an online, essentially a tenant referencing platform that we launched in, I think, 2016. We offer a range of different types of reference checks for residential agents. We also deal with commercial agents as well. So we do deal with, sort of commercial or company type checks as well. We're a fully FCA authorized insurance broker. So we offer a range of different types of, insurance products for the industry, such as, rent guarantee, rent protection, this kind of thing. Landlord building insurance, tenant insurance, tenant contents insurance, tenant liability insurance. We offer digital right to rent and digital ID checks using government approved IDV technology. We also recently introduced automated email checks into our system as well, which can be used for essentially it's made for letting agents and and agents and whatnot. If somebody wants to do an AML check for whatever reason, they can use our system to do that. Obviously, with the new legislation coming out from the 14th of March, and then we've got a few integrations with different other providers that provide different other sort of cross-sell services through our kind of platform as well, if you like.
Well, that is a long elevator pitch, but then to be fair, you have got a proper one-stop shop there for lettings agents, haven't you? Which is where I suppose the cleverness of the name Let HQ comes into play. So really,
Correct.
that's the key point, isn't it? Here,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
come to you and they can really confidently put all their eggs in one basket with yourself if they want to, and have that relationship with a single company, but covering a lot of the different vital services that you provide for lettings agents.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when we originally sort of launched LetHQ and we develop it and we're trying to think of like different names, different brands and things, we wanted something kind of simple and quirky, but we kind of thought, well, if you call it kind of LetHQ, it's almost like, I remember someone saying at one point in the journey, it's almost like an Amazon for letting agents. You can log in there and then it does different things that you need. And, there's plenty of other things that we'll add to it and it will grow, over time as well.
Good night. And look, obviously, if you were looking for quirky, Kerfuffle was taken at that stage. So,
Yeah.
not that anyone actually knows what we do, but there are clues in the name there. But talk to me about how this new feature product came about. And what was the background for you guys wanting to go down this route?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, from the 14th of May, you've obviously got the new legislation coming in that, all, tenants, guarantors, landlords, etc., need to be AML checked to check that they've got no sort of PEPs or sanctions against them. It is currently in there now, but the threshold for the monthly rent has dropped from zero. I believe it was any rents over €10,000 a month or above. These
Yeah.
guys needed to be checked. From the 14th of May, that threshold just drops down to zero. So it doesn't matter whether the rent's £1,000 a month or £100 a month or whatever it is. And the only way to obviously know whether these guys have got any sanctions or not is to essentially just to check everybody. So the way that we've introduced this new AML product into our system, we've done it essentially as a standalone instant product, if you like. So it's not combined to a reference check or a credit check or something like that. It's just a fairly simple, easy to order, frictionless product that the agent can order through our system, putting some basic information in, the tenant's name, the tenant's date of birth, current address, etc. And then providing we get a successful match, our system will email them a full kind of PDF report with a full breakdown of everything and whether we find anything or not. It's an ID check as well, so it also covers that base as well. It's pretty much instant, so they should get the report emailed to them within about 60 seconds of them actually pushing the button to submit that information through our platform as well. It's all automated in the background,
Lovely stuff. So very strong technical platform. We're going to come on to the service levels later because, massive award whore that I am, I can't help but keep staring across your shoulder to your 3 S's, but we're going to come to those later.
Okay.
What I'm focusing on just the moment is, and why this is obviously so vitally important though, is obviously the penalties are getting really, really serious, aren't they? And people are genuinely getting hit there. So do you just want to give us the context around that as well, as to what if you don't do this right, what you could be subjected to?
Yeah, sure. So I haven't got the numbers off the top of my head, but there are some quite sort of heavy fines, some quite kind of heavy penalties that people can incur, obviously, for not, adhering to these AML compliance checks. So, not only does the letting agent need to ensure that, they're dealing with the right sort of clients and the right sort of tenants and whatnot, but they also need to ensure that they need to protect themselves and their own business as well, because obviously they don't want to get hit with a massive fine for non-AML compliance, but they don't want to get banned from practicing estate agency or struck off or something like that for not doing these checks as well. And because this is a new thing that's coming out from the 14th of May, obviously I could see that the policing of this, certainly an issue, could be fairly sort of stringent as well. It's part of a global sort of AML crackdown. It's not anything that's exclusive to the UK. It's a global crackdown, to do with obviously, or sort of mass global money laundering, if you like, on a global scale, which is particularly prevalent in the UK and in a lot of these big the big cities where a lot of lettings go on, like London and Manchester and these sorts of places as well. So obviously from the letting agent's point of view, it's yet another thing they've got to deal with, be compliant with. There's another expense and whatnot as well. But from their point of view, it's unavoidable.
Okay, I mean, I think the penalties are everything from like £1,500 to over 50, aren't they?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, they're big penalties. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so the kind of the pain point that you're solving, and obviously that the solution offers as well, is it's just very firmly in that big tick box around the compliance angle. Then obviously this legislation is happening. That's the pain point you're solving to be able to do it. But crucially, you guys can handhold them throughout that whole process.
Yeah, this is it. It's a fairly simple and painless thing to set up through our system. You don't need to involve the tenant. You're not sending the tenant an email or a link or a text message where they've got to fill something in themselves as well, because sometimes that can be, not an easy thing. Sometimes you're trying to get the tenant to play their part in as well. So the agent has complete control over the process of setting it up and submitting it, from start to finish.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit just off camera before as well, and we were saying that there is definitely it's an urban myth, but actually it's one that's true, and it's that there are a lot of suppliers out there that do sit a little bit too firmly in their ivory towers. They're very good technically, but they don't live and breathe the industry. Maybe, they haven't got that experience. That's absolutely not the case with you guys. You in particular, you've come from this industry, don't you? You understand exactly what it's like at the coalface.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're not, we're not kind of one of these kind of prop tech startups or anything like that. We haven't sort of raised millions of pounds trying to sort of build our system or anything like that. It's completely self-funded. I myself come from a letting agent, estate agency background. I started in the late 90s when there was no Rightmove, there was no email addresses. It was still a lot of stick-on photos, a lot of traditional, a simpler time of doing this. So I've got a lot of industry background, been in the industry for well over sort of 25 years. So, I believe I understand the journey very well from start to finish from the agent's point of view. as well. Our sister company, a company called APCS, they're one of the largest suppliers of DBS checks in the UK. So we tap into a lot of their resources that they can offer as well, which have helped us kind of build our system from a cold start, if you like. So our DNA, our background is estate agency and check-in people. Although our system's very complicated and it does a lot of different things, I've kind of resisted so far in going down the route of being one of these kind of do-it-all platforms that kind of manages the whole kind of tenancy experience. We've added things in over time and improved it, but what we've really tried to do is double down on the actual checking and the vetting of the actual tenant as well, to ensure that we've got a premium kind of easy to use, cost effective product, as a part of the end-to-end journey, if you like.
Okay, and that's important, isn't it? And that comes across very clearly, as we said, we've been getting quite a few people of your happy clients reviewing you, and that empathy, that understanding, very strongly comes across in those reviews, and that's where I start to pay a lot of attention. I mean, there are over 1,000 platforms, sorry, 1,000 suppliers on our platform.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys struggle to actually, you wonder what they're doing half the time, because they do struggle to get, they tell us how fantastic their products are, but they don't really get that backed up. That's great to be able to see. First of all, you've got the social proof behind you in terms of the awards, so obviously that's great. The Esters famously do get them from clients that are voting as well, and
Correct,
you've also got them on our platform and across other review platforms. So that matters, I think, these days. Agents do want to know this is working for other agents in the business, don't they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating when you deal with any company, whatever they do, that they take days to respond to emails, they ignore your queries, they don't answer the phone promptly, they don't respond to voicemails and all this kind of thing. And I think it's a lot of it is customer service orientated, and a lot of the importance of that for me comes from my estate agency background, because an estate agent, a letting agent, if their suppliers aren't good enough or fast enough or whatever, then they'll just drop them and go elsewhere. You got to be outstanding on all levels all the time, and obviously from a property point of view, from a lettings point of view, the business moves very fast. It's a lot faster than sales, obviously. And not only do people want a fast and prompt professional service, but it's got to be quick, it's got to be smooth and easy as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's another frustration, isn't it? You mentioned there in terms of obviously your handhold, strong tech there. How long does it take to onboard an agent when they actually want to do it? Is that a matter of months? Is it a matter of weeks? What's the process that goes through? Because agents obviously, when they do want to commit and go with the supplier, it's very rare that it just works out of the box, and it's just how much kind of time do they need to dedicate to going live with a
yeah, sure. So it's fairly quick and easy to get up and running with ourselves. We don't have any there's no sort of onboarding fee, there's no setup fee, there's no subscription fee, there's no tie-in, there's no monthly charges or anything like that. Someone can set up a user account with ourselves online. We just do a bit of quick due diligence on the organisation just to check that we're happy with them and they're legit, because you do get some sort of possible fraudulent ones as well. And then once that we're happy with them as a client, we can give them access to our platform. There's different payment models that we offer. We just do like a pay and go model where they can just pay for whatever they submit through our system. Obviously, we offer monthly payment terms, direct debit terms, and whatnot if people prefer as well. But the process of them registering an account with ourselves online, for us to doing a quick few checks on them, sending over the blurb for them to sign and send back, it can be done, fairly quickly, within minutes almost. We can get people up and running really fast.
And so really flexible pricing models there. That's nice.
Yeah.
Agents who hate all those ones you highlighted there, setup fees, all the rest of it. That I know that's one of the biggest grumbles they tend to have. And just so I understand, Simon, is this service, is it entirely live now, or is there a release one?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Although obviously these new regulations don't come out for about another 3 or 4 weeks or so. We actually launched the current AML product that we offer through our system probably about a week to 10 days or so. It is still very new, but I can assure you now, the day we launch launched it, literally people started using it and putting stuff through it right away, and it's already getting good traction. It's already seeing quite a fair amount of activity. But, I'm pretty confident that's going to build over the next sort of few weeks or so, particularly when we get into May, and then we get maybe a bit more of a spike of people sort of looking around for these things. But it's getting a fair amount of activity already, which is great.
Well, we'll come on to the cost in a minute on that,
Yeah,
Simon.
yeah,
Just give a reason as to, ultimately, one of the three main USPs, I suppose, around the service itself. Why should agents be,
yeah.
knocking on your door?
Yeah, so it's fairly it's fairly quick and easy to set up and submit the checks. The results, as you say, there's a level of automation, so they're pretty much instant. So we don't there's not a lot of sort of manual processes in the background because the system does a lot of the lifting for us. We are also an ISO 27001 fully certified organisation as well. If people don't know what that means, essentially it's
I was just about to blag it and pretend that I did do, but yeah, I mean,
okay.
what all I do know is that these are difficult things to attain, aren't they? As well, they hold.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, we get regular audits, annual audits right across our systems. Everything we do, software, security, servers, ridiculous levels of security, but essentially it's the highest possible level of certification an organization can achieve that deals with data management. So if anybody uses, whether it's a client, a tenant, whoever's data is going through our system, we can assure you that their data remains completely safe, which is a lot of people are very worried about this sort of thing in this day and age, quite rightly. You probably find your own bank probably doesn't even have that layer of security to it.
Excellent. Well, that's good to know. You've gone through all those hoops to give that degree of
Yeah.
certainty. And
Mm-hmm.
talk to us about the cost side of things then. So where does this benchmark itself at? Because one of
Yeah.
the things, across the board there and everything else is, there is a perception that things like tenant referencing particularly has been commoditized, hasn't it? And in terms of how do you keep the service levels up when the price points are there? When the price point maybe isn't there. So just talk to us about I suppose, two angles there. What's the cost for the different services that you do, and then obviously how you manage to kind of reconcile that with delivering the service?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, essentially, we have our obviously sort of front end sort of system, our front end portal, our platform where people set up an account and submit the checks to us, and then we have our back end kind of bespoke built CRM system where all the information comes in, and then we manage and track and deal with that particular check or reference. From start to finish to the point where the report gets completed and then sent back over to the letting agent who requests it. So the system does a lot of the work for us. There's a lot of automations in there, and then we have to dip in and dip out where we need to get that particular check kind of over the line, if you like. I think because the system does a lot of the work for us, it helps us keep on top of these things. It's not a paper shuffling exercise. It helps us deal with them quickly, deal with them accurately. No two references that land in our system are the same. There's so many kind of sort of quirky situations these days of a tenant. It's what you call the gig economy. They have multiple jobs. They got they're Uber drivers and self-employed people, and they're selling stuff online and all kinds of quirky things. There's so many different situations. Some are quicker and easier to deal with than others, obviously. But because our back-end system is so sophisticated and so comprehensive, we employ our own kind of in-house software guys who are constantly working on that and enhancing it and improving that journey all the time. So a lot of what goes on the surface, the client wouldn't necessarily see that. All they see is the platform where they submit the check and then whatever spits out the other end. But there's the machine, if you like, the engine that's dealing with it. On the other side, it's very, very comprehensive. We're constantly refining that. As I said earlier, we're adding layers to the onion, if you like, almost on a daily, weekly basis.
Excellent. And is it available to all agents?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. An agent can set up an account with us fairly quickly and easy from our system. And we're very flexible. We have all sorts of different types of clients and agents that use our system, whether it's just kind of like a small kind of one man band type setup, or maybe one that's got a couple of offices, or someone that's a little bit bigger, a bit more of a chain or a franchise, or something like that. We built our system in such a way, again, that it's very flexible, that it can handle those kind of smaller independents. But if a bigger organisation wants to use it, and they have multiple offices and they all want separate invoices and all kinds of quirky things, then it will handle that as well, if you like.
Excellent. And which agents do you have kind of using this? Any stats you can share from the people actively using it at the moment?
Yeah, so I mean, we launched the business in 2016 essentially from a cold start. Obviously, we had lots of people that said they were going to use it. Some didn't, some didn't, obviously, you know. But yeah, no, we service over 7,000 agents right across the UK, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. We're an online system, an online business. So, anybody can discover us and find us, right across the board, really. So it doesn't matter whether they're kind of local or in different parts of the country or something like that. We've got agents in Scotland, Wales, England, all over the place. Most of our agents, our clients, do tend to be more kind of southern, down south, kind of London based. I'm not sure why that is. It may just be that because the market's bigger down there, there's more rooftops, in that part of the country than anywhere else. So a lot of our clients are southern based, but we've got people all over the place that use our system on a daily basis.
Fantastic. Great to know that there's that coverage and experience of people using it out there as well. And
This is
look,
it.
and Simon, look, I mean, obviously it's a congested area, isn't it? I mean, this is probably one of the most congested ones there. So with similar products out there in the marketplace, how does yours differ that you separate yourself out?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, there are lots of different sort of clients out there, different competitors that offer similar things. They'll all tell you they're the greatest thing in sort of sliced bread, if you like. And there's different ways that you can reference tenants now. There's all sorts of different emerging technologies, automations, HMRC data now, open banking and whatnot as well. I certainly think from our point of view, I think there's a few things. I think we've obviously been going for quite a number of years now, so it's tried and tested. We're constantly trying to sort of enhance and improve the product, if you like. Obviously, there's a data security thing as well, which obviously is a big thing for, it's a big concern as well. We get it on a regular basis when people are, filling in online application forms. Why do you want to know this? I only want to rent a flat. You have to explain to them the reasons behind it. And I think because a lot of our system is a lot of it's automated because it goes through our kind of online system, if you like. Again, it's not a paper shuffling exercise, so it allows us to manage and track and get these things from one start of the journey to the other end of the journey in a fairly sort of quick and smoothish sort of fashion. And I think our clients appreciate that, and a lot of our clients do come from recommendation as well. It's always great when someone sets up an account and they've been recommended by another agent, or maybe they've used us at another agency and then they've left, or they've set up their own or something like that, and they want to kind of continue to use us as well. So I think that kind of helps as well. Proof's in the pudding, I guess, as well. And the more we do it, the more experience we get, the better we get, the better our system gets. And then when people do set up an account or they do use you, they like it, they trust it, and they come back for more.
Yeah, it's a virtuous cycle, isn't it? It's really, really good. And look, talking
Yeah.
about the endorsement from as I said, from the reviews, I'll come back to in a second. But just talk us through. As I said, you've got the three there sat behind you. You've got the hat trick, I believe, for Supplier of the Year for Best Tenant Referencing Company. So that's up again. That's a pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Oh yeah.
I think that does mean that you get to keep the big trophy, doesn't it, when you win the hat trick like that? So talk to us about that sort of what's that meant to you, and of course this is being voted for by your clients as well. So it's powerful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, there's lots of awards that you can get within the industry. It's great to obviously win those extra awards. 3 industry recognised awards, 3 years on the bounce. It's one thing to win it once, but to do it again and go out there and win it again is amazing. And then to go out there and win it 3 years on the run, as you say, the hat trick, great way to put it. It's not an easy thing to do because you've got to be outstanding on all levels all the time. I think from my point of view, setting this thing up from a cold start, if you like, when there wasn't any clients, I think from my point of view, what's really great about the Esters is it's not voted for by a panel of people. It's not voted for by a panel of judges or whoever. It's voted for by your clients based on their individual feedback, for different categories. And then you get kind of like an overall score. And then obviously that's compared to whoever else is in that category as well. So essentially it's voted for by letting agents who use our system and our services day in, day out. So I don't think you can get any better than that, really. Again, proof's in the pudding.
Lovely combination. And then and then contrasting that as well, you've also got the reviews that are just popping up on our little website, and some of the things just cherry picking. I always encourage everybody, as you know, when you're watching these webinars, guys, go and have a look at their landing page, the LetHQ one on kerfuffle.com. There, really telling the sort of the strength of the feeling that's coming through. Jane George from George Property and Finance. All this was only a couple of weeks ago. Attention to detail, professionalism, and efficiency have consistently exceeded our expectations. They make the point how busy as an agency they were, but how you supported them all the way through there in the different services. Customer service, obviously being excellent, comes through a couple of times. Very proactive. Attention to customer care is second to none. I mean, these are all things, these are the buzzwords, aren't they? And things that people would want to be thinking about, having from what's going to be more than a supplier, that's going to be more of a partner to their business. Those are vital. You must be quite pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I say sometimes as well is it's us, it's the agent, and it's the tenant sometimes working together. To get that journey of that reference coming into our system to wherever it needs to be to come out the other end, and then the agent can decide whether they're going to proceed with them, with a tenancy or not.
Perfect. Well, look, I mentioned right at the outset, you guys, you're already really competitively priced anyway, but you've given our guys, our members, an extra special deal as well here. So I'm right in thinking, I think you're offering all Kerfuffle members a massive 30% discount for the standard referencing prices.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is provide the Kerfuffle reference. It's KER 30 for you, isn't it? So that's
yeah.
We'll put it on the bottom of this there. So that's absolutely fantastic. So really simple. And from what you're saying is you're not tying them in for a huge period of time as well.
No, we don't do any sort of contract tie-in or anything like that. We're fairly flexible. So, if anybody wants to get in touch, quote the discount code, have a chat about the services. We can go into a bit more detail. If you want to set up an account with ourselves, we can get you up and running. Within minutes, we essentially, and you can, start using our services right away.
Excellent. Well, I think what's nice about that is that's really confidence in your own product there. Lots of people go down and they do, and it's absolutely fine tying them into longer term contracts, but having the confidence in your own service, not having to go down the route of doing a trial, which may, still kind of gets on board, but just to say, look, we're going to give you the full service and allows you to really kick the tires of the service, which is, there's some very differential levels of standard and service in this area, aren't they? So it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's absolutely right.
Great. Well, look, KER 30 for you, and that's it. 30 for you, basically, is what we're talking about there.
That's it.
Simon, absolutely fantastic to learn about. You want to check back in with a few months as well, find out the other services and things that we need to be talking about. But for today, thank you